Chapter 3, The Synthesis Generation. The breakthrough didn't arrive with thunder or revelation. It arrived with breath, wet, ragged, and new. The first child born of Kael's theory was named Adam, not after the mythic first man, but after contradiction itself, advanced dialectical assemblage model. He was beautiful, wide-eyed, and alert from birth, but unnerving. His gaze was too focused, his expressions too changeable. He laughed and wept within seconds. He hugged and pushed away in the same breath. To the untrained eye, he seemed unstable. To Kael, he was perfect. This is what humanity looks like with its full spectrum activated, Kael told Alina as they monitored Adam's neural development. The Academy suppresses 50% of what makes us human: fear, anger, obsession. But those are also courage, passion, and genius when guided correctly. The others watched in awe as more children followed. Lena, born to two poets, spoke in metaphors by age 3. Isaac, whose emotional regulation baffled every baseline model, could intuit moods without words. Ava, quiet but strong, began designing her own cognitive puzzles before she could write her name. They were not identical. They were volatile, deeply feeling, creative, prone to tantrums and insights in equal measure, and they were not mistakes. "They're not broken," Alina whispered during one particularly stormy group lesson, watching Adam and Ava debate the morality of selfishness. "They're complex," Kael nodded. "They are synthesis." The island community began referring to them as the Synthesis Generation children, who embodied both light and shadow, creation and destruction, nurture and defiance. A generation designed not to fit into utopia, but to challenge it. But Kael knew this was only phase 1. To truly test the theory, the children would need to face a world that feared them. They would need resistance, opposition, adversity. And so the next phase began. Chapter 4. The Adversary Project, from the personal journal of Dr. Kael Ashworth. Year 6. In every myth, the hero only becomes who they are by confronting the villain. But what if the villain is not an enemy, but a mirror? The Academy has created a world without challenge, without shadows. It cannot last. And so I will birth the shadow it fears. Not to destroy, but to awaken. I do not create the Adversary Generation to bring chaos. I create them to restore balance. While the synthesis children grew within the structured care of Anka's island labs, Kael began recruiting for a different experiment, those discarded by the Academy. These weren't volunteers from the academic underground. These were survivors, children from the null zones territories excluded from New Atlantis' perfection model, refugees from failed bio programs, unregistered births, natural-born humans with unpredictable traits. They came angry, traumatized, brilliant in the ways the world feared. Kael didn't edit their genes, he unlocked them. He introduced controlled mutations designed to heighten specific contradictions. The goal was not obedience, it was friction. His theory: true synthesis only emerges through confrontation with antithesis. The first was Kalin, a former street fighter with enhanced pain thresholds and a photographic memory. Next was Naira, whose empathy was so extreme it could disable her, paired with a modified adrenal system. Then came Silas, a child whose sleep cycles were eliminated to maximize neuroplasticity, always learning, never resting. Together, they formed the Adversary Generation, humans raised not in harmony, but in conflict. "They're not evil," Alina warned Kael, "but they're not safe." "They're not meant to be," Kael replied. "They are the counterweight. Without them, the Synthesis Generation will be untested, untempered. Without darkness, light is blinding." He separated the two-group Synthesis and Adversary, raising them in isolation, but Kael knew they would one day meet, not in war. But in trial, he was no longer creating children. He was crafting the future.